Evening all. This will be a video dealing with why I believe Marvel has had such a stronghold on the #1 spot for so long, as opposed to DC, their nearest competitor, always seeming to be in that #2 spot. I really think it goes back to the 60s, where even though the current tagline that Marvel has, they didn't have then, I think nonetheless it still applies to them, which is they're the world outside your window, which essentially in and of itself means that these are characters that you can relate to. These are characters you can feel for. These are characters largely of substance, where DC's characters back in that same time period were characters largely of style as opposed to substance. And as far as why Marvel has maintained that #1 spot, I really think it just goes to the past and the people that put them on top to begin with. Their kids and their kids basically just stayed with Marvel, and likewise for the people that stayed with DC. So when all is said and done, I guess you could say it's really just out of repetition. I think with 52 with the DC doing the 52 relaunch, that's a roll of the dice that could pay either big dividends or be a huge fail. The big dividends would be that there's an outside chance that they can overtake Marvel, even though it's a shrinking comics market out there. They could still potentially overtake Marvel with this move, or they could fall further behind. It could go either way. But anyway, going back to why I think they still have the hold they do, it's repetition. I can't really say beyond that, because right now you could argue who has the more relatable characters now. You know, DC's characters have been, over the past decade or 2 decades, have been seriously depowered. So talking about, you know, how much more powerful DC is than Marvel doesn't really apply. So I await to hear what my tag team POV partner has to say on this. For me, I think I've said about all I can say. Thank you for listening, and night out.